Hello, welcome to Soulprint Intuitive Tarot for October 23rd. Okay, so we survived last night's debate. Frankly, I have to tell you, it went better than I think not only myself, but a lot of people were anticipating. He was his usual petulant self, but he was contained, he was controlled. I don't know that he really scored any points. Everything with him was all about the economy and nothing else. You know, people who are living by oil refineries and their health is at risk, his response was, excuse me, his response was, yeah, but they're making great money. You know, anyways. Okay, just a couple of little housekeeping notes first. For those of you who were asking about the hot dog by the fireplace, I don't know what you're talking about, okay? So if somebody wants to give me some clarity about that, I went back over that video. I froze the frame. I can't figure out what you're talking about. I can tell you, though, that typically there are hot dogs by our fireplace. The fireplace, as you can see, is on again. It's natural gas, and it's just taking a little bit of a chill out. We're having unseasonably cool weather right out here right now. So if somebody wants to let me know what that was about, I will be more than happy to try to answer the question. But as of right now, I don't have a clue. What else? I've gotten a lot of requests lately for information on pendulums. How do you get them? Where do you find them? How do you program them? How do you work with them? This coming week on the Soulprint Insights channel, Paul and I are going to be doing a video this weekend, hopefully, as long as everything goes well, and that should be released, I'm anticipating, on Tuesday of next week, and I will let you know on this channel on Monday if that's changed at all. For those of you who don't know, my Soulprint Insights channel is sort of all things metaphysical / spiritual. So it's a very different channel than this one. The really nice thing about that channel, I launched it in January, so it's, almost 11 months old. But the stuff that's on that channel doesn't stale date, right? So if you're looking for information on pendulums, you can go into the playlist at the Soulprint Insights channel and you'll see a category for like pendulums and crystals. So, you might want to, those of you who have not checked it out yet, I invite you to do so. Okay, and a couple of things I want to just double check with my pendulum. And thank you so much for all those people out there who do this with me and get, the same answers or some of the same answers, whatever the feedback is. I just love getting it because I think it's so, fabulous that like around the globe, we're all asking the same question. And it looks to me like for the vast majority of time, we're all getting the same answers. Okay, so here we go. There's a lot of questions about Texas. So, Texas is a red state. And right now, it is a toss-up, unbelievably, a toss-up between Biden and Trump. So, pendulum, can we ask some political questions at this time? Yes, those of you who are new to this, the back and forth motion, excuse me, the back and forth motion is the pendulum's ready to talk. Show me yes. Back and forth like this is yes. So side to side is ready to talk. Back and forth is yes. And show me no, please. And no, round and round is no. Sorry, that frog in my throat is turning into like a big old toad. Okay. So is Texas going to be won by Biden? Is Texas actually going to go blue in this election? That's yes. Okay. People wanted to know about John Cornyn, senator from Texas. Is he going to actually hold his seat? Is he going to be able to hold that Senate seat? No. And we'll just double check that by asking, is his Democrat challenger going to win that Senate seat? I think her name is AJ Hagar. So, yes, it looks like she is. Also got some questions about Doug Jones. So, for those of you who have been watching this channel for a while, you've probably heard me say that one of the reasons, or one of the ways I sort of get an idea of who's winning is that when I see them in an interview, I see like a big green check mark over their face. And that, you know, the way you see on election night, that's exactly what I see over their face when I'm watching them. So a few weeks ago, I had seen Doug Jones in a interview, and I came out and I said, look at, I'm seeing that big green check mark on him, so maybe he's going to win. That could be really amazing. But my pendulum is now saying that he's not going to be able to hold that seat against the football coach, I think is who he is or what he is. So pendulum, is Doug Jones going to be able to hold his Senate seat from Alabama? And right now that's looking like a no. Okay. Let's just check a couple of other sort of things that we routinely check, okay? So, Florida, is Florida going to go blue? Is Florida going to go for Biden? Yes. Is Biden's win going to be significant enough that a recount or a challenge to the votes is going to be necessary? Is it going to be enough of a win that it's a clear winner for Florida? And that's looking like yes. Let's do just a couple more quick ones. Michigan, is Michigan going to go blue? Yes. Is Pennsylvania going to go blue? Yes. Is Wisconsin going to go blue? Yes. So the reason I'm specifically asking about those three states around the Great Lakes is because if Biden wins, I think it's Pennsylvania for sure, but he's in. That's it. The race is over. And because he's getting, it looks like that blue wall is coming back in force. You know, in terms of the Electoral College, I mean, he's just going to get hammered. Plus, if he gets Florida and if he gets Texas, it is going to be a blue tsunami. It's going to be huge. So those are kind of the 5 states, honestly, that I'm, really, really paying attention to. And I have said this before, when I look at the map, sort of when the election results are known, which I have said many times is going to be within the first 24 hours. It's not going to drag out. What I see is the eastern seaboard almost completely blue. So, all the way down Florida, and then the western seaboard blue, and sort of, you've got New Mexico and sorry, I'm not whatever other state right there, Arizona, I'm not sure. Anyways, I see a lot of blue, and what's really interesting is the center of the country does not look solid red. There's sort of pockets of blue to break up that solid red. So, let's just hope that things continue to move in that direction. Okay. So I want to take a look at the trajectory. Now that the debate is over, I want to kind of take a look and see how everybody's doing, what we can anticipate, what things look like right now. Biden, from what I can tell, is being considered the winner of that debate. And, this is the thing. I don't think that Trump moved anybody. Okay. So if there was undecided voters out there who were like, well, I'm not really sure. I don't understand that. But anyways, I don't see that Trump did anything that would make people go, yeah, you know, absolutely, he's my guy. I didn't see it anyways. So let's take a look at the current political situation. Come on down. I have a question. Okay. So, current U.S. election, current U.S. election, current U.S. election. Okay. All right. So, the messages are established, right? I mean, people have, for the most part, made up their mind. There's some sort of indecisiveness, but it is such a little sliver of people. And the messages are very opposite. And so people really do have a very clear idea of what both sides are. And it looks as if those messages are really not going to significantly change in the next, 7, 8, 9. I'm not sure how many days it is to the election. I think 10 maybe, I'm not sure. But their messages are now locked in. So that's going to continue. You're going to see more and more coming out from from Biden. Trump, it looks like he's going to sort of become even more petulant. He's going to be having more of a pity party because, for reasons that nobody can exactly explain, he seems to think that if he whimpers and whines and tells, women that they should like him, that somehow this is an attractive message. Okay, so it's really, really, really not an attractive message. But I don't see those messages shifting or changing. So basically, what you have now is exactly what you're going to see going forward, without a whole heck of a lot of change. Now certainly Biden has a huge advantage in terms of donations and money available to him. There are some places where Trump has just literally pulled all of his advertising because he doesn't have the money. And so Biden in the coming days, it just feels like he's going to have a stronger message, and it feels like it's going to be really out there, where Trump's messaging is not only going to sort of fade a little bit, but it's going to continue to be that sort of pity party thing that goes on with him. I know that there is concern about foreign country interference in this election. And yeah, you know what? It's happening. I mean, there's not a good way to say, oh, no, it's not happening. That's silly. Of course it's happening. But the sort of what these cards are saying is, listen, the people who are tasked with keeping the country safe in that way are doing the very, very best job they have. And frankly, there are some guards that have been put in place that they're being very quiet about. And so there's more, what I want to say is there's more protection than it kind of appears like on the surface. I don't see interference significant enough that it is going to impact things. You know, the numbers, the turnout, the volume of people voting is so large that that makes kind of cheating and tweaking things here and there to slant a certain way. Honestly, even if that's going on, the volume is so large, it sort of rolls right over that. So, you know, be safe out there, be alert, all of that. But it looks to me, anyways, as if there isn't going to be a real significant worry. Um, and it also feels like they're sort of post-election, and I will do, I think next week, I'll probably do a bigger dive on kind of that time from the day of the election going forward for, you know, those 2 months. But it feels as if even Trump supporters are going to have some of the air deflated out of them now. That doesn't mean that a lot of them aren't going to go underground. Yes, they are. It doesn't mean that there aren't going to be some out there like screaming like lunatics and trying to start a civil war. Yeah. But you know what? This is the thing. If you have 100 people in a crowd and 2 people are screaming about something, it's really easy, frankly, for the other 98 people to kind of mow them down. Okay. And that's kind of the energy I get, is a lot of deflated energy, flatline energy around Trump as those election results become known. So for right now, that's actually not something I see being a real significant concern. There have been a lot of groups that have come together and are kind of working hand in hand to really get the message out about Trump. And those messages are going to continue to increase from now through till the election. So I'm talking about you know, veterans against Trump, Republicans against Trump, the Lincoln Project. I think there's one called the Midas something. Sorry, I can't remember what the last. I don't think it's touch, but I could be wrong. So you're going to hear more and more of these. They're going to really ramp things up in this final home stretch. Trump's message is going to continue to be scattershot. It's going to be continue to be all over the map. Okay, so thank you for that flash. So this is what I just got this. So what's going to happen is today Trump is watching the news, he's watching the media, and what he's hearing is, well, you know, he did okay, he was at least restrained, but honestly, I don't think he moved any voters. Biden still won. You know, you could see towards the end of the debate where he was really, really getting angrier and sort of ready to just sort of flip to his more usual behavior. And so his reaction to that is going to be basically, listen, you blank, blank advisors, I did what you told me, and that didn't work for me. I'm now, you know, nobody came to my side. Nothing is working. And so I'm just going to carry on and be my own best messenger because you know what? You guys are idiots and you don't know what you're talking about. So I actually see an increased amount of sort of belligerence coming from this guy because he's sort of like, listen, I tried it your way. It didn't get me anywhere. So basically, the heck with you. So that could be kind of an interesting situation. Mitch McConnell and the Republicans are going to continue to distance themselves day by day as we move towards that election. And, you know, they're jumping ship, right? And now everybody's really busy trying to create some space, except it's really, really hard to create space to something you have been stuck to for 4 years. Doesn't work. You know, people are not foolish and people's attention spans are not so short. So there's kind of that going on. So you have the Two of Wands and the Two of Swords sitting sort of one on top of the other. So again, decisions are being made, choices are being made, and honestly, the country is sort of in a state of almost like holding your breath, right? Because it's finally coming to an end, and there is always sort of that fear that kicks in about, well, we thought we understood, the last time what was happening, and the rug got pulled out from underneath us. So once again, I caution you to keep your thoughts very positive, very hopeful. Focus only on what you want to bring into the White House, not what you are trying to get out of the White House. Focus only on the positive. It's going to help. Not only is it going to make the next 10 days or whatever it is a little bit easier to cope with, because you're going to have something very positive and productive that you are focused on. There's going to be more news coming out about Trump and his money. It's crazy. Every time I say that, like, almost within 12, 24, 36 hours, there is another story. The last one was about the China bank account. It's just, stuff is just going to continue to come out. There's so many skeletons in his closet, and there's, more than a few people now who are starting to figure out exactly where all those bodies are buried. And so he is going to face a really difficult week going forward, because there's going to be more and more information coming out. The whole press conference with that Ratcliffe guy about how Iran is messing with the election. Trump is trying to duplicate that sort of Comey moment. He really believes that he is going to be able to pull this out in the final week, because he thinks that there's some magic thing that's going to happen in the next 7 or 8 days that is going to switch people's heads. Well, listen up. You guys have 50 million people, who are 40 million, who have already voted. And from what I understand, typically in an election, you have about 1.5 or so million people that actually vote. Now, first of all, this coming election, that number is going to be significantly higher. But if we're looking at 50 million that have already voted, and typically you get about 150, it means like literally up to a third of the people have already made their decisions. The votes are in. So, but he's going to continue to kind of pray for this crazy miracle. And listen, he is going to be ratcheting up the pressure on Bill Barr like crazy. I don't see Bill Barr falling for it. I actually don't. I think good old Bill has kind of figured out that he's in a bit of trouble here. And, he can't pacify the guy anymore. He's out of control, and he's demanding things that honestly I think would get Barr impeached immediately. And so I don't see that he's going to get a lot of help from that corner, but that's not going to stop him from ranting and raving and screaming like a lunatic. And while I'm on that, for the people out there who are poll workers, and who are putting into the comment section things about how things are going, and the people who send comments and saying, listen, the Trump signs are disappearing, or where there used to be a lot of Trump signs, I'm not seeing any signs. Please keep that information coming, because I think all of us who go through the comments kind of appreciate those insights. And, even if you're American, it's nice if you're in, I don't know, Kansas, it's really kind of nice to know what's going on in, New Mexico or Texas or whatever. So keep that information rolling in. I think it's helpful to all of us. And a very big thank you for doing that and taking the time to share that information. Um, it looks like Trump is going to get even more bad news in terms of information, legalities, um, things that have happened because of policies. And a perfect example of that, of course, is now finding out that 545 children, they can't find their parents. Those kids are still locked in cages and they don't have one clue who their parents are. Now, I do understand that there's actually people who have gone down to the countries and they're almost like literally going door by door and knocking, saying, listen, do you know who this child is? Do you know who their parents are? Whatever's going on there. So there continues to be a real push to try to get these kids reunited with their families. But understand that's not coming from the Trump administration. That's coming from, the legal groups and the support groups, the people who are on hands and trying to fix this. But it looks like Trump is going to get some more kind of bad news. And by extension, it looks like Biden is going to continue to be seen as that person who can calm the waters, that person who brings intelligence, clarity, clear communication. Biden's popularity is going to continue to, I mean, you're not going to see huge leaps again because so many people are already locked in, but you are going to see an uptick. I don't think post this debate there's going to be kind of the massive surge that there was last time, but I do believe you're going to see again more support for Biden. It's going to pick up, it's going to continue to build. Okay. So this is sort of a message from Spirit, okay? They're saying, listen, we understand that so many of you felt as if you were stabbed in the back at the last election, that, the wind was knocked out of you, that, you were taken out at the knees. And they understand that sort of, post-traumatic stress. But you are really, really being encouraged to kind of, control those emotions. Let the fear go away and stay focused on the celebrations and the happiness and the good things that are coming down the road as a result of this election. So focus on that. Don't get worried. And, it's a really normal, natural thing to frankly get worried, right? And we all experience this in our lives, right? There's something that we've been planning for a really, really long time and we're really excited about it and we're really hopeful. And as it gets closer and closer, kind of a panic starts to set in, right? It's like, oh no, like what if I miss something? What if I'm wrong? What if whatever? And you're really being encouraged to just let that go. And if that means you have to disconnect from television or media or whatever you're doing, do so, especially given the fact that once again, it's Friday. And once again, we have an opportunity to decompress a little bit. Really, really, the attention needs to be on the amazing, amazing things that are going to come forward. This is the deal, right? People are making their judgments. And that heavy burden that people feel like they have been carrying for 4 years, where they have been on tenterhooks and they've been scared and they've been watching the destruction of their country, that's coming to an end, and a new beginning is on the horizon. Focus on the new beginning. Take comfort from the fact that you're going to be getting good news. Take comfort from the fact that the days of anxiety and worry are coming to an end because the government is going to be restored to something that, frankly, you recognize. And balance is coming back. It really does feel like the soul of the nation is going to be saved. And listen, the thing is karmically, the United States has learned some really valuable lessons. And that goes a long way to being able to lift up from the situation and transition to something that is much more positive and helpful and forward thinking, etc. What you're in right now is coming to an end. And you have wonderful, wonderful stuff coming down the road for you. It's going to come clear. Okay? It's going to really be okay. Alrighty. Okay, so I'm hoping that is helpful, reassuring. It's the weekend. Take some time to, frankly, take care of yourself. The COVID cases are increasing at an astronomical rate, and it's not only in the United States. The difference is that for the rest of the world, predominantly, the rest of the world is now experiencing their second surge. Unfortunately for the United States, you are experiencing your third surge. So stay safe. Keep yourself in a good place. And really appreciate and enjoy the fact that you have survived. Okay? And the end is in sight. And the pity party president is on his way out. Okay. Until next time, take care, be well, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.